We know that you're a self-made millionaire, which I love. By your age, it's amazing. You're a woman. Give us 3 tips on how, if in any business, what they should do if they want to be self-made and create the wealth that they're looking for.
I had like 5 women in my previous company that I looked up to for different reasons. I took their photos, I wrote down all the characteristics that I really admired about them, and over the course of time, I embodied those characteristics and became like the sum of those 5 women.
From the grit and the grind to successful minds, live from the entertainment capital of the world, your hosts, Jillian Batchelor and Daryl Hamilton.
Hey guys, it's Jillian Batchelor with Vegas Real Talk, and we are back today. And I'm so excited because we have a guest host from my team, and our guest host is
Samantha Figurazh, and I am so excited to be here today because we are talking about health, self, and wealth today.
And because of that, we actually have an amazing guest speaker, a woman that I love, that I have just loved her spirit. We've been friends. We met each other a couple times. I love what she's doing. She's a female entrepreneur. She's killing it. She's a self-made millionaire. She's all about her health. She's all about self-care, and she's all about wealth building. I love that we have another female in studio. So today we have Kristina Figurazh with us. She has multiple companies. Kristina, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, how you got started, what businesses you're in. Tell us everything we want to know you and love you.
Oh my goodness, how much time you got? I'm just kidding.
Right?
All right, so I'm an immigrant from Ukraine. I came to the States in 1987. My mom brought me here to, as most immigrants, allow their children to have a better chance at life. So I took that very seriously, and I always knew that because I was raised by a single mother with no siblings, I had to basically be successful to take care of my mom,
Wow.
So I did the traditional route, went to school, went to college, got good grades, scholarships, all of that, honors roll, dean's list, all of that. But
wait, so you're saying you were motivated from day one? I am not surprised. Are you surprised?
Not at all.
Not surprised that this girl was driven and motivated. Okay, keep going.
I feel like as an immigrant child, you don't really, it's not about motivation, it's about obligation.
Wow.
It's more of like your parents literally sacrificed everything. Like my mom left her career there, her friends, her entire life at 33, picked up to come to a different country where she doesn't know the language. She had no jobs lined up. She went from being a secretary and dressing all cute for a job to literally cleaning houses and working out Alzheimer's care and changing diapers.
And that literally just gave me chills because as a parent, think of how much you do sacrifice. But we really, in the United States, we're very blessed in most parts. Yeah. And we don't really understand the true sacrifice of an immigrant. So keep telling us. This is very, very fascinating.
So I feel like when you're an immigrant child, you don't really have success is your only option, failure is not, in the wise words of Eminem. But that was truly something that I always felt like that was a kind of like a responsibility, a burden that I had to shoulder, that I had to figure out how to make it and be able to stand on my own 2 feet. So I'm not a burden to my mom, but also can help her out and allow her the freedom to experience life, in a way that she wasn't able to do so because she sacrificed so much for me. So I feel like the pressure is always on. So I always strive to do my best in everything that I did. And I started my entrepreneurial journey right out of high school. I started a photography company, and I had that for about a decade where I did everything from boudoir to weddings to baby photos to just everything in between. So that was a really good taste of like entrepreneurship where you get to, learn how to do legal contracts and deal with clients, customer service, and all of that other stuff. But it wasn't until I was about 24, 25 that I went into network marketing, where before this I had no idea what it was or that it even existed. But I liked the concept. So with my first company, I was there for about 4 years. I learned a lot. I put in a lot of hours. I would say an average was like 40 to 60 hours a week of just learning how to work the business, learning what it takes to be able to read compensation plans, train your own team, train your own downline, as people would call it,
See, and I think that's where a lot of people fail when it comes to network marketing and even real estate, is that they think, it's just going to be easy. It's going to be so easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts. And they don't put in the time, they don't put in the energy, they don't put in the effort. And it sounds like you really did that to learn your business. So I'm not surprised you are where you are. But yes, please keep telling us your story.
Yeah, there's definitely no shortcuts. So with my first company, I can honestly say that I didn't earn very much money at all. It did take a lot of my time, energy, and effort. I put everything into it. And I would say that it was like a 4-year internship, where I learned a lot. It actually cost me more money to be in that business than I made with that business. However, I looked at it as a college degree of if I decide to go this path of tapping into the incredible opportunities that are available on the internet, like with social selling, social media, marketing, if I tap into that and take this as a 4-year college course, like how can I learn to posture myself in a way of attracting the right people into my life, whether that's customers or, you know, people that do business with me. Because I was one of those people that was told to cold message and send those like, hey girl messages. And I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, you're like, that's not me.
I would just like,
We all get those.
literally would not be able to do that. I could not do it. And I blame that as the reason why I was not successful in my first, you know, network marketing company. So eventually I decided to leave and I was like, this isn't for me. I've seen a lot of people have success with it, but it's not for me. So let's just move on with our lives. Went back to a traditional job as a bottle service girl in Portland. And then, you know, because I was really always just caring about my health and fitness, trying to always like, you know, good, I found myself in a really dark place in my life where I was transitioning out of like a very serious relationship. And I found myself kind of like not knowing what happened, why my life that looked so well put together fell apart and everything was crumbling to where I had to start over. So, you know, as we all mostly go through depression, we just kind of like eat our feelings and we don't really take care of ourselves.
Eat our feelings. Wait, that's really hitting home for me. And I think, and you know what I really love about this, Kristina, right now, and even Samantha, I love that right now, today's podcast is a female podcast. Normally I have my business partner on here and he's a man, obviously, but I love today that we're talking female podcast. Everything you're saying right now is really resonating with me. Yes. I know Samantha as well. We've all been in those relationships. We've all had those relationships in life where maybe we had huge hopes and dreams of where that relationship was going to go. We really thought this is the person we're going to be with for the rest of our lives. And maybe that didn't happen.
Burned, yeah.
For whatever reason. And it's something we struggle with, I think, as women. And also, especially the three of us, I know, and hopefully a lot of our listeners, is that we are told as women, you need to be all things. You need to be this amazing wife or girlfriend,
There's
this
so
amazing
many
partner.
standards set just for women, what you need to look like, what you need to act like, the kind of things that you're allowed to say.
And you need to be a good parent, even if that's a step parent or a dog parent or an actual parent. You need to have children, but then you also should have a business. You should be successful. You should be happy. You should have great friends. You should look great at all times. You should take care of your house. You should take care of your husband or your spouse or your wife, whatever it is out there. You should do all these things. Be a good role model. Speak up, but don't be too loud. I mean, there's so many things that we're told. So I absolutely resonate with what you're saying. And then a lot of times that can put us into a dark place. But don't say we're in a dark place because then we would be being too much.
Yeah,
we
that's
can't
not
be too
ladylike.
much. That's not ladylike. No,
ladylike.
take care of things. So so keep going and love
I
this.
hear the bar is very, very high for women. The expectations are very high. But I found myself in a dark place where, you know, I had to kind of start over again. And at that point, like I found myself like 25 pounds heavier than I was and just going like, you know, just self-medicating, drinking too much, doing too much of just like bad toxic behaviors. And actually I found myself in a very like toxic relationship as like a rebound out of that one. So basically I was at the lowest point in my entire life. Wow. I no longer recognized the person that I saw in the mirror. I was kind of waiting for it to just be all over, to be honest with you. And so needless to say, like, one day I was literally scrolling through Facebook and I saw this girl that I've been kind of following along that had success in network marketing leave her like 5+ figure income, monthly income, in the middle of building her dream home to just join this new company because she believed in the product so much. And I was like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, like why? Wait.
Literally, what are you doing, you know? And so I reached out, I got more information, I got a 10-day trial because she just would not leave me alone about it.
Yeah.
She's like, come on, you gotta try it. So she was very persistent. So I was like, okay, fine. So I got the product in my hands and I honestly, like for me, the reason I even decided to go like into network marketing again was because for me, what the product did for me was incredible. It's something that I couldn't put into words, but like I woke up on day 6 and I was sober, or I was content and like happy being sober and just like truly feeling like I had joy and the curiosity like of a child. You know, when you're like excited to go to school and it's first day of school and you just can't wait to go to school and you wake up the next day, you jump out of bed and you're just like super excited to go. I had that same excitement about life as an adult. And I'm like, I haven't felt this feeling since like I was a kid. And it just like made me feel things that I haven't felt in a really long time. So I was like, what is this stuff? And like, how can I get more? How can I get more involved in this? So for me, it changed the way that I perceived my own reality because it gave me like, it helped me obviously with my moods. It helped me with the fluffiness that I was experiencing because it was ketones. So it was helping me suppress my appetite, gave me more energy. So in the byproduct of doing that consistently allowed me to have more energy to start working out again, allowed me to have less appetite. So I'm eating less, working out more. So I was able to defluff those 25 pounds. So
defluff.
And in the
love
process
that.
of doing that, I was naturally and organically just sharing my journey. It wasn't like, okay, let me just go build this other business and do all this again.
Now, did you have a big social media following at that point already? Or okay.
No.
Okay.
I think I had maybe 1,500 friends on Facebook. I think just a few on 100 on Instagram. I didn't really have a social media.
And this was about 5 years ago?
5.5 years ago, yeah.
And this is important because I want people to know that, like, now I just feel like in life nowadays, it's so much easier to build a business or build a brand than it was before there was the internet, before there was social media. I mean, before you were mailing to people, maybe you did advertising in a newspaper or a magazine. And so now, but you didn't have a huge social media following. So you built that organically throughout the way. So I love hearing that.
Yeah, for sure. Like for me, it was about, back then I was using Facebook. So I didn't even use Instagram the way that I use it now at all. So for me, it was about being intentional. So I was like, okay, I'm sharing this journey, why not do a call to action at the end of each post to be like, if you want to join me on this, if you want to do a 10-day trial, whatever, DM me, claim your, product down below, whatever it is, give them a call to action. So you're not just like, here's my life, here's what's working for me, have a great day. Like it's about, okay, here's what's happening. I'm documenting my journey. I'm sharing it authentically. And, I'm creating curiosity around the product. And by the way, this is available to you if you want to try it as well. So you have to give them the invitation because a lot of people are looking to be, invited. Not a lot of people are going to reach out and be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and they don't know what to say. Like when I first was watching you, I'm like, wait, I don't know what to even ask for. Like, do I need a certain product? Like, can she help me? Can she guide me? Like, I want more energy. I want to lose weight. I want to look great, naked and with clothes on.
Yes.
Samantha,
Don't we all?
Don't we all, girl?
Don't we
Yeah.
all?
So yeah, keep going. I love it.
Yeah, so essentially it was just a organic way of just sharing my experience with the product, and people were seeing my results with it. And so that kind of just catapulted into, building an organization with it. So once I actually, because of my previous company, I was able to actually figure out, okay, what's the compensation plan? If I'm going to go all in and do this thing, what's the best way for me to, be able to focus my energy on the things that are money generating activities and the things that are going to allow me to climb the corporate ladder in this company, if you will, right? I saw they had a car bonus. It was a Tesla program. And so basically they could just, if you're a rank 7 and above, you can qualify for a $1,300 a month payment for a brand new Tesla, Model X. And I was like, this is it. That was my why.
Which you guys, just so you know, if you've seen her Tesla, it's wrapped like a rainbow. Is that what you say? Like chrome. It's like a chrome rainbow. It's gorgeous. It has her name on it. You see her when she's coming down the road. It's amazing.
And it fits her
perfectly.
It fits her perfectly.
It's like a unicorn sparkle diamond all in one. It's amazing. It's like her total personality.
I love the car. But for me, it was the golden carrot. A lot of people are motivated with different things. Like in the network marketing space, I've seen people join for the monetary aspect, which is what I needed. I needed to be able to take care of myself and not rely on the situations that I was in. I've seen people join for the community aspect because a lot of people don't have positive people in their life. They'll have negative friends and family that tell them you're good for nothing, you're not going to amount to anything. And when you're in environment so negative and toxic, how are you going to thrive, you know?
And that goes into a lot of your mental state as well. Yeah. When you're in a negative environment, I don't care if it's a relationship, I don't care if it's your friends, I don't care if it's your family, I don't care if it's your parents. I came out of a negative space recently, and in that negative space, a lot of times people don't realize when you're hearing negativity day in and day out and day in and day out, it really hurts your mindset. It hurts everything.
You start to take it in. So you're it's like you're a sponge. You're absorbing all that negative energy constantly. It's almost impossible for it to not affect you.
It's your mood. It's your weight. It's your motivation. It's your life. It's how you parent. It's how you speak with your friends. It's how you speak with your spouse.
About yourself.
Yeah. And these negative environments sometimes can be your parents. It could be your workplace. It could be your spouse. It could be your significant other. It could be your best friend. I think we've all gone through that. So I love that you were taking care of yourself and you were like, this is a good community as well.
Yeah, that actually, when you were just speaking, what came up in my mind was why I actually just left everything in Portland and moved out to Vegas. The Bible has this, Jesus says, a prophet has no honor in his own hometown and amongst his own friends and family. So your friends and family are always going to see you as the little Jillian and all the things that you've done, all the mistakes that you've, had throughout your life. They're not going to, if you one day just wake up and you're like, I'm no longer going to be this person. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to be a victor over my life, and I'm going to do everything I can to be the best version of me. Your friends and family are not going to take you seriously. Yeah. You have to kind of, leave the nest, if you will, if you were like a little birdie, leave the nest and forge your own way. So for me, when I started seeing success in this business, I realized very quickly I lived in Portland, Oregon. The weather there is fantastic. raining all the time. It's kind of gloomy.
Yeah.
People are constantly in this kind of victim mentality. What I've noticed is like it's everyone's fault. It's the government's fault. It's my boss's fault. It's my boyfriend's fault. It's everyone but yours fault for everything that happens.
No accountability.
No accountability at all. Yeah. And so I looked around. I'm like, the only like successful and wealthy people in that area were like really old, and I'm like, I don't see any people in my age that are
that I can identify with.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I literally just packed up my car, brought a cactus, and just moved to Vegas by myself.
How long ago was that?
This is 4.5 years ago. Okay.
And really quick, you guys, let's make sure that we hear a line that Kristina said, because I think it's really, really important. She said, I am no longer going to be a victim. I'm going to be a victor in my life. And I love that. So we're going to quote that. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to be a victor in my life. Let's remember that. Ladies and gentlemen, because we all need that. We all need that. We all have those moments in our lives where we're like, wait a second. Am I allowing myself to be a victim? I'm all about self-accountability, responsibility, and ownership of what's happening in our lives right now. And I think women, men, all the same. I don't care if you're old, young. You need to take ownership of what happens to you in your 100%. Life. And a lot of it is what you allow to happen. I've had some situations in my life where I have allowed myself to be in a situation or allowed things to happen or have allowed people to treat me a certain way over and over and over again because I thought I was doing the right thing, or I thought I was staying for the right reasons, or I thought I was keeping this person in my life for the right reasons. And instead of saying, no, hold on, I choose me.
Yeah, this isn't good for me. I need to remove myself.
I need to choose my happiness. And it's everything, you guys. It's in your job. It's in your relationships. It's everything. And you need to be in control of your life in all aspects. If you don't have enough money, you need to work and do something different or reset your priorities. If you're not in a happy relationship, either look for the happiness there or try to go to counseling, try to get God in your life, whatever it is. If you don't have a religion that you feel comfortable with, if you don't have friends or family around you that you feel comfortable with, you really have to go for that. So I love that. Let's not be a victim. Let's be a victor in our lives.
I was going to look up this quote. Hopefully I'm quoting this right. It's by Steve Maraboli. The victim mindset dilutes the human potential. By not accepting responsibility for your actions, you greatly reduce your power to change them. So when I read this quote, like probably a decade ago, I was like, wow, that's insane. So regardless of the situation, regardless of whose fault it is, I'm sure you guys have heard the quote, the trauma may not be your fault, but healing is your responsibility. Yeah. The soonest you can take responsibility for where you are in life, the sooner you can have power to change your circumstance, regardless of whose fault it was. The second you decide to be like, I'm responsible to change this, and that's when you get your power back from whoever you gave it away to, and you can then take steps forward. But essentially, I moved out to Vegas, and I knew no one. I had no friends, no family, nothing. And I'm very much introverted hermit who now is working from her phone. I don't have to leave the house to meet anyone. Right. So it's been a really long, isolating 4 years of just like up-leveling and learning and healing and growing and learning how to set boundaries and learning how to take responsibility and learning that we are the product of our environment. There's a lot of unlearning that I had to do, of being an immigrant and being raised in socialism, communism and poverty mindset and this and that, to becoming, a multimillionaire in my company. Like there was a lot of limiting beliefs that I had to let go of in order to become the person I am. And in order to be a person that's an excellent steward of my wealth, because I've seen a lot of people go from quote rags to riches, raise everything. Yeah. Because they don't know they don't feel worthy of having the money. So it's like burning a hole in their pocket. They're like, get it.
Well, and I love that because we talk about that too. A lot of it has to do, everyone talks about relationships, but what is your relationship with money? Mm-hmm. Because some people abuse it. Do you use money to your benefit? Do you use it? Do you abuse it? Or do you appreciate it? And that's what I think is really important for a lot of people. From a young age, I had a very good relationship with money because I looked at it as a tool that I wanted to use for growth, but I also respected money. Right. And I understood it and I appreciated it. Yep. And so I always kept a savings, and I always, a lot of people spend more money than they actually make, or the money is spent as soon as they get it, especially in our business or any kind of commission-only business.
Well, and I mean, I think like the average person in Las Vegas, they have over $10,000 in credit card debt. I mean, that's an average.
Yeah, and most people don't even have 2 weeks worth
in their bank account.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm glad that you were able to find a way to use it.
I learned from my mom, like watching her balance, her checkbook, and she could stretch $1 to crazy. I mean, she never made more than like $30,000 a year, and she had to support the both of us, and we still had trips to Hawaii. I still had clothes from Abercrombie and Hollister, which was really cool back in the day.
Yeah, I remember that.
Still shop there.
Yeah.
But, for me, it's just like I had to really overcome a lot of limiting beliefs and had to learn a lot of things as I went, through this business. And like a good friend of mine says, like, if you have a problem, solve it with the profits. Like when you are able to really have a business that you can scale, the cool thing about using money as a tool and as a resource is that you're able to literally use it to be able to solve problems around you by delegating and outsourcing and that kind of thing. And that's the coolest thing. It's like I had to overcome my mentality of like hoarding all my money and being like what, you never
how
know
do you
what's gonna
leverage
happen.
it?
Right. How do you leverage it? How do you scale it? How do you reinvest it? How do you delegate? How do you outsource? Like, how do you make it work for you?
So speaking of using your money, one of the things that I love about you, because I follow you, I'm a huge fan, and we're friends, but is what I also have. I have this travel bug because I feel like traveling, it gives you so much life experience. Yes. You get to meet people, different cultures, different foods, different environments. You also get so much appreciation for what we have. So I know that you've been to many, many beautiful places, but recently I saw you were like in the Maldives and you were like in Dubai. Like, tell us a little bit about where you were, what you were doing. You guys should follow her. Her trips are amazing.
They're so fun. And how did you catch the travel bug in the first place? Like, what made you decide that you
like what happened there? Tell us.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like I was born in Ukraine, so like the countries are the size of states here. So it's like you can get in the car and be in a different country in a couple hours. So I just feel like if you're from Europe, you're not only bilingual, but you also have the ability to travel, to different countries.
Everything's like closer together. And
so I've always felt like I mean, this world is so vast and our lives are so short and there's just so much to see and do and experience. And I feel like traveling is like investing your money in a way that enriches you as a person, right? Because you get to be exposed to different cultures, different food, different traditions, different lifestyles. It's so incredible because traveling allows you to truly get to know yourself.
Yeah.
Like on a whole different level. But yeah, Maldives and Dubai was amazing. It was my birthday trip, my 33rd birthday.
Okay. Yeah, happy birthday. 33 is my lucky number. So, I mean, it's just no coincidence that you're here and that I love you. Sorry, guys.
I knew it was going to be a big year for me. But yeah, it was an incredible, we did first class Emirates to Dubai, stayed there for a couple of days to get acclimated to the time zone. Then I went over to St. Regis, Maldives, and it was like the best trip of my entire life.
So how many days were you gone?
I was gone for a total of 12 days, I think.
Wow, yeah, that's great.
Really cool. It was amazing.
So was that your favorite place, or where was your favorite place to ever visit and travel? Like, where have you been?
Dubai, Maldives, for sure. I've been to Dubai a couple times. Dubai is like Vegas on steroids. Okay. Like, that's actually why I moved to Vegas. I was in Dubai with my company, and we were just surrounded by so much abundance and sunshine, and I love the desert. So I was like, I was literally set on moving to Dubai, but then I was like, what's a single girl like me going to do in the middle of the Middle East?
Yeah.
Fair. And it's 12-hour difference between, the Pacific Standard Time. So it's like, this isn't going to work out for me running a business. I can't be up at midnight running a business. Right. So that's how I chose Vegas, because Vegas and Dubai are very similar. I think that when you put, again, it's about your environment, right? If you're constantly around negative people that are just telling you you're not going to amount to anything, you have to uproot yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to plant yourself in an environment that's going to feed you and water you and nourish you and allow you to tap into your highest potential, what you're made of, like what you're destined to become.
Wow.
Yeah. And you think traveling played a big role in that. What would you say to somebody who told you, oh, well, I can't afford to travel, or I don't have time for this? Like, what would you say to them?
Or I can't take time off work, or responsibilities.
What would your recommendation for them be?
Let's see. I would just say, it's all about priorities. Like, when something's important to you, you're going to figure out a way how to do it. So I say yes and figure out the how later. Just be spontaneous. Life is short. Life is so short where you're never going to be this young again. So like for me, I look at my mom now and I'm like, let's go here. And she's like, no, I'm too old. I just want to relax. I just want to sit at home and just like chill.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't want to waste my whole life working, grinding away.
Exactly.
To just be in my 40s, 50s and be like, I'm too tired to go. I'm too tired to travel. Like,
well, and think about too, I mean, so my dad unfortunately passed away at 62 and became disabled at 60. And everybody thinks, oh, well, when I retire, what's the average age of retirement? 65? When I retire, let's even say it's 60. Let's say you're young, or even 58. You can have a lot more ailments. So, like, how much are you really going to enjoy traveling? Not that, 58 is still very young for some people. For some people, it's very old.
There's no guarantee. There's not even a guarantee that you're going to make it to 65 or retirement.
Again, my dad passed away at 62, completely heart attack, didn't expect it, was in great shape, other than that, and wound up getting disabled from a back injury at 60. So you just never know. So I say live in the moment. A great way to travel. If you're super disciplined, I use amazing credit cards the stuff I buy every single month. So my car payments, my gas. And then get all the points. And I've traveled first class all over the country on those points. I've traveled 5-star hotels, beautiful, beautiful places. Now, there's some things that you pay for, but I've had trips that would have cost me $30,000 that I've spent maybe $4,000 on because I use my travel points. So there's ways to make it happen. That's what I would say.
I totally agree.
You got to use credit as a tool. Like, it's not free money. You got to pay it off ASAP.
Every month. Try to pay it off every month if you can.
And it really is like priorities. If you say that you don't have the money or you don't have whatever, it's like, okay, well, look back at your spending and what did you spend in the last 2 months that maybe you didn't need to spend. I mean, when I was in my like early 20s, I was just like you. I went through a phase where I was like, my time's not going to return. My money is going to return. I'll always have an opportunity to make more money for myself, but I'm never going to get these years of my life back. And I've been to, I think 15 countries now, which isn't that many compared to a lot of people, but it was all within like a 4-year time span because I was just determined to get out and experience and, meet different people. And it really does open up so many doors. So,
and that's why we're talking right now. So we're talking health, wealth, and self. Because you have to do self-care, and that's mental care, that's personal care, that's your heart care, that's your boundaries, that's your beliefs. Your health, your health is not just physical. Again, it's also your mental health and your physical health. And then we're talking, wealth. Wealth it's really, really important, but wealth means something different to everybody. And some people say, I want to be rich because I want to have the fancy cars and the boats and the travel and all that. That's not always what it means to everybody. For me, health was my initial standard of, wealth was, can I take care of people around me? Can I help those around me? And I have a standard that I always tell my team too. I've always thought if somebody needed my help and I had the ability to do it, I wanted to be able to do it whenever they asked me, with no questions asked. And say, that's been a big deal for me. Also employing other people, providing other people lifestyle. So wealth is a big deal because you need it, but wealth, it definitely helps when you want to travel. It definitely helps when you have kids and you want to do, it's all the freedoms they could do. So Kristina, I know that you are really all about like yourself and self-care and like taking care of yourself and taking care of the people around you. And that radiates from you. It really, really does radiate from you. And I feel it online. I felt it when we met. And that's why I gravitated towards you, because you're really about like just taking care of yourself personally, interpersonally, spiritually, mentally, physically. I love that. So if you were to give people just like maybe 3 points of taking care of yourself, what would you say that they are? I
would say first and foremost, it's going to be expensive in time and money, either now or later when you're sick. So invest in your health now. Preventative health is way more, you're able to do a lot more when you start taking care of yourself now. Yeah. And I would say stop being a data collector. A lot of us, when was the last time you actually read a piece of news or you heard something and you went and implemented it and you went and took action on it? Never. A lot of us are just collecting data from everything, TV, radio, like podcasts, whatever it is, but go and implement that thing. You know what I'm saying? So there's a more two right there. Just take care of yourself now. Preventative is so much more important than trying to throw everything at the wall when you're sick and you're trying to figure out like, why didn't I take care of this sooner? Yeah. It's about a lifestyle change. It's not a quick fix. It's about how can you get in alignment with having a healthy lifestyle all around. That's mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. How can you fill your cup in all of those areas every day? Yeah. Even if it's just a few minutes a day for each area. And then go and like my mentor, he's like, it doesn't matter if you read a book cover to cover, just pick up a book, open it in a random page, read a paragraph. If it gives you information and inspires you, close that book, take immediate action on that. And that's it. That book has paid for itself. Love it. So give us, and then last little bit before we have to sign off today, you guys, but give us, we know that you're a self-made millionaire, which I love. By your age, it's amazing. You're a woman. Give our listeners 3 tips. You don't have to be a woman to listen to this, but give us 3 tips on how, if in any business, what they should do if they want to be self-made and create the wealth that they're looking for. I think like for me, what was really important was to find mentors. Like these people didn't even know I existed, but essentially women that had characteristics that I really admired, that I wanted to like embody within myself. And I actually posted this on my Instagram stories the other day, but I had like 5 women in my previous company that I looked up to for different reasons. One was really tax savvy. The other one was really outspoken and just like truly herself. The other one was really good at creating systems for her team training, so on and so forth. So I took their photos, I wrote down all the characteristics that I really admired about them, and over the course of time, I embodied those characteristics and became like the sum of those 5 women. And for me, like MLMs come and go, right? So for me, it's like a company is not. I wouldn't say like my first one, I was like, oh, this is forever. But it's kind of like your first love. Like most of those end. You're going to have a second boyfriend and so on and so forth. So it's like a different kind of perspective. For me, it's about build yourself as a brand. Who are you outside of your network marketing company? Build your following on all your social media platforms, regardless of what happens. You are gaining transferable skills that can be applied to any kind of job in the future. And so build your brand, focus on the vision and surround yourself with, mentors. These people don't have to even know that you exist, but like follow them, emulate them. What do you admire about them? And then embody that. So, love that. How can you include what they're doing into your day-to-day day schedule because you are what you repeatedly do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. And then any last tips on just healthy relationships? And they don't have to be, intimate relationships, but healthy relationships with just people in general, with your family, with your friends, with your spouse, with your, kids, any level. Just give us a tip of what you would say is most important in a healthy relationship.
I think it's being honest about, like for me in the past, I would wait until something like really I would just be quiet until like the last straw that broke the camel's back and then just unleash my fury. I think now it's like the older I get, the more I realize I'm like, once something starts like triggering me immediately, even if it's not a big deal initially, I'd be like, hey, by the way, that I didn't like that, or let's not do that next time. Or it's like speaking up and then setting boundaries, because people are going to push and they're going to push until you're like, this is the line, and there will be consequences if you cross this line, regardless of friends, family, et cetera.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because I'm 40 years old. I just turned 40, so I got a little bit of age on you girls over here, and I'm just learning that right now. I have been told that I am a rug sweeper. There's an issue and I sweep it under the rug because I don't want to have the confrontation. And then there's another issue and I sweep it under the rug and I don't want to have the confrontation. And then finally it gets to the point where I'm like, oh wait, I'm broken and I'm going to run away, or I'm going to leave this relationship, or I'm going to, just lose my cool or whatever it is, because I'm a rug sweeper. And I finally learned, don't be a rug sweeper. It's okay in a safe environment to mention what is bothering you, to mention what has triggered you, 100%. To mention saying, but it took me, girls, 40 years to get to that point.
But a lot of people struggle with that. It can be really hard for some of us to set those boundaries, because you feel like by setting a boundary, you're going to rub someone the wrong way,
or they're going to walk away out of your life.
Right. And I mean, so how did you deal with that personally when you were learning how to set those boundaries? Did you worry that you were going to lose people from your life, or did you lose people?
I think at first you have to realize that not everyone perceives the world as you do. We're, like I said, shaped by environment, by upbringing, how we were raised. So one, we can't expect people to be mind readers. And that's the thing that I found myself expecting other people to read my mind. I'm like, well, they should know better.
You should just
I wouldn't do that to them.
How I feel.
Like I was told, treat people how you want to be treated. I'm like, I would never do that to them. Why are they doing that to me? And, at a certain point, you just got to sit people down and understand, like, when you have to assert boundaries, it's allowing for a much healthier relationship, So if they don't want to, like, I went through a period where I didn't talk to my mom for a really long time because we had such an unhealthy relationship. So sometimes space is necessary. Because it's like, especially parents, they have a hard time letting go that you're their baby. And they can
now I'm an adult, you guys.
Yes. It's like, when am I actually going to be an adult in your eyes? So sometimes space is necessary, but I think that understanding that no one can be a mind reader, and learning how to communicate your feelings and thoughts in a way that is respectful and doesn't cause that person to like put a guard up and they're not listening because they're so defending what you're accusing them of. So no name calling, no this and that, just like coming to someone with an open heart and being like, I truly love you and I care about our relationship and I would love for it to be healthier. How can we both work towards that? Together.
That is such a beautiful thing, because really that's what all relationships are about, is if I can stop for a second, if I can calm down, if I can say, hey, I really love you, but I need to address this with you. I need to set a boundary. I need you to hear me. We all want to be heard. We all want to be appreciated and valued. So I love that. So I just want to say, Kristina, thank you so much for being our guest today. I think we should have her back, don't you think? We need to do part two.
We do.
This is amazing.
Let's do it. Let's do part two.
We have so much more to talk about. So you guys, again, I'm Jillian Batchelor. This is Samantha. And we're Vegas Real Talk. We're filling in today. Samantha's filling in for Daryl Hannah, who's out. We love this. Hopefully you guys will want Kristina back again. We're going to put her information in our podcast so you guys can follow her, love her, see all the amazing things she's doing. And we'll have her back again. Kristina, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.